Hello my gorgeous plant people, welcome back to Reading Mindfully. My name is Yana and today I am showing you my prayer plant collection, so let's just get into it. Hey guys, so like I said, today I'm showing you guys my prayer plant collection. If you guys did see my last video, I went over my prayer plant care, and so I just wanted to go ahead and show my prayer plants more in depth because I didn't really get to show them off too much in that video. But like I said, let's just get into it. I do have Marantas, I have Stromanthes, I have one Ctenanthe, and a lot of Calatheas. So I think the first one I'm just going to show you is just my Ctenanthe since I only have one. And so this is my Ctenanthe Burley Marks CI. And this plant is just, it's a really gorgeous plant. I love the fishbone patterning on this plant. It hasn't given me any trouble at all. And in fact, the only reason why I have a little bit of damage on this plant is because it sits next to a candle that I burn every now and then, so I did get a little burnt. But other than that, like I said, this plant really doesn't give me any difficulty, but I really do love the fishbone patterning on this plant, as well as the undersides that are purple, a really nice eggplant color. The first one is my Stromanthe sanguinea. I got this from the plant farm on Etsy. This plant did come with a little bit of cold damage, but as you can see with these newer leaves, they are coming out really nicely. And it's just a very nice striking plant. These are one of the plants that I do not like to let the leaves get wet too long, because I do find that they do get a lot of damage on there when I have the leaves getting wet, and they, you know, if I don't catch the leaves being wet and the moisture just stays on the tip of the leaves, it does have a bit of damage. After that one, I have my Stromanthe Magic Star. This one is one of my favorite Stromanthes just because of the speckling that I get on the leaves. As you can see there, it has some really nice speckling. And with these plants, they do have that nice fuchsia underside. But there you can see it. This is just a really nice plant. I find that this one is one of the fast growing plants. It does put about 2 to 3 leaves out at one time, so it does grow really quickly. And the last Stromanthe is this Stromanthe Trio Star. And this one is kind of like the Magic Star, but it does have more white that comes out on the leaves. This one is probably the most prone to the leaves being crispy on the ends if I let water sit on them. So this is the one that I really have to watch out for. But this is a gorgeous plant. And then after that, I think I will show you my Marantas. I do have 4 Marantas. This is my Maranta curtroviana. This was one of my favorite Marantas just because of the rabbit track patterns. And it's just so nice and full, as you can see. And I love how big the leaves are growing on this one. You can see the rabbit tracks up close in person. Like I said in my care video, if your tracks are fading, you need to give the plant less light. But as you can see, mine are coming in very dark, and then that's how I know it's getting enough or not too much light. I'm gonna start shifting these plants over because, as you can see, I have a lot of prayer plants. This is the variegated version of the Maranta lucanara. I like this one in particular because all of the leaves have a bit of variegation on there. I do see some that don't have a lot of variegation, but I'm very pleased with mine because all the leaves have a nice patterning of variation. And with that one, I do notice that the leaves come in a lot smaller, but that doesn't make me unhappy or anything. The next one, of course, is the lemon lime. It's such a beautiful plant. This one probably has one of the most beautiful contrasting leaves in my opinion. And every leaf you can see that the contrast is different than the one before. Some that come out and they just have barely enough contrast, and then others are very dark. So I just like seeing the difference that comes out in these leaves. But this is the lemon lime, like I said. And I can't wait for this one to get nice and full. So I have seen a couple other YouTubers do have really nice full lemon limes, especially Harley G's. Hers is so beautiful. And then of course, getting the lemon lime, I needed to get the red version. This is the Erythronora. It's putting out again the most contrasted, striking leaves. And then you can see others are a lot lighter but still equally beautiful. This one is constantly putting out new leaves. As you can see, this is a new one that's unfurling. And then it's got this one here. But I really do love the red version as well. At first I didn't like the red version, and that was only because I saw a couple people who had the red version and they were really faded, and I thought that's how they all looked. But if you don't put the plant in too much light, then they do come out really nicely. So if yours is really faded, then you just have to change your light situation. Another one that I had and I showed in one of my favorite videos is the rattlesnake Calathea, or the Lancifolia. This one is the slowest growing one out of all of the prayer plants that I own. This one hasn't given me any more new leaves, and it's just really slow. It is a very beautiful plant, but like I said, it hasn't given me any new leaves regardless of what kind of lighting I put it in. If I do put it in more lighting, then I do lose that purple backing. And so it's either I sacrifice the patterning to get more leaves, or I just have a really slow growing plant and still keep that beautiful backing. So this one's kind of not a tough one to grow, but it's not as fulfilling as my other ones. Another one that can be difficult is the Rhubarba. And it's not that this one is a slow grower like the rattlesnake, it's that this one drinks a lot of water. So you really have to be careful, paying attention to the moisture level of this one. This may be one that you would put in a self-watering pot if you're not good at monitoring your plants. But again, if you're not getting the purple backing, that's a lighting thing. But this one is just really beautiful because of the leaves being very furry and like a velvety textured. And that's probably one of my favorite things about this plant, is just because of the velvetyness of the leaves. Another velvety plant that I have is the Calathea vorcevici. This is the first one that I got, and it just didn't do a lot of growing because it had some cold damage issues, and so it was recovering for a really long time, and it's just now putting out this new shoot, which I'm really happy for. So I spoke about cold damage and temperatures in my last video, so check that out. But I was able to find this one at a better price range, and this one has already given me 2 beautiful leaves, and it is a lot happier than my other one. But you can see they're very beautiful plants. I just love the velvetyness of the leaves. The new leaves are even more velvety than the old ones, but this is a very rewarding plant. Also one that you have to watch out for moisture levels, but I really enjoy this one. So other velvet ones, I have the Calathea zebrina. This is my smaller one. It has just put out the most beautiful leaves. As you can see, I did just water it, so it's leaking a little bit, but this is a very beautiful plant. That's one of my better growing ones. I do have a bigger one. This was one that I ordered in the cold, and it took a real long time for this plant to bounce back, but now it has put out 2 new leaves, and it's even giving me a stalk here at the bottom. So Calatheas, what I like about Calatheas are that they do bounce back if you give them enough time, and if you give them the light and the moisture that they require. They do have a really good potential of bouncing back, and that's what I think is the best quality of these plants, is that yes, you can make a mistake, and they do get mad at you for a small period of time, but for the majority, I've seen that they can bounce back and grow even better. So this is one of my smaller Medallion 2s. Such a beauty. I do have a bigger one. This one just has a little bit more pink in the leaves compared to this one, but they're both equally beautiful. Like I said, this is the Medallion 2. I think I'm just going to end up combining a lot of my plants. As you can see, I have a couple that are duplicates, and I normally don't have duplicate plants, but for some of them I wasn't sure if they were going to bounce back, so I did get another one, or I saw them at a better price range and at a bigger quantity, or you know, the plant was bigger. So this is the Calatheas Shine Star. It looks like the Medallion, but the middle here is more white compared to the Medallion, which I also have. If you can see that, there is a difference between the Shine Star and the Medallion. And you can see that I have a lot of Medallion like Calatheas. I just love the roundness of the leaves. These plants do get really big, so I'll have to keep that in mind in the future. But this one is starting to put out a new growth right there. I did notice that this one needed a little bit more light than what I was giving it, so I did move it closer, and then that's when it shot out that new growth there. Here's the Calathea Makoyana. I really like this one because of the cathedral backing. It has the same pattern on the back that it has on the front of the leaves. It's just a different color. This one also I had to give a little bit more light to, and then it, you know, put out some new growth. But this is the newest leaf that it's put out, and you can see it's bigger, way bigger than the other leaves. I do have a smaller version, one that also got stuck in the mail and had some cold damage. This one took a while to bounce back, but like I said, they do very well with bouncing back. They just take, well, mine took about 3 weeks to bounce back, I noticed. But then when they did bounce back, they started shooting leaves out like crazy, especially with my first Calathea orbifolia. As you can see, this is one of the newer leaves. And then this one here is a newer leaf. And then it's putting out these two as well. And this one I'm considering putting together with my other Calathea orbifolia, just because these plants are known to get huge, and I kind of don't want 2 huge Calathea orbifolias. So I'm thinking about combining them just so they can be one plant. But you can see that they put out nice, huge plate size leaves. And I love seeing the new leaves because they come out so much lighter than the older leaves. The older leaves have a deeper contrast compared to the new leaves, but the new leaves are so beautiful. But yeah, those are all of the prayer plants in my collection. Like I said, I do have a couple that are duplicates that I'm considering putting them together just so I don't have a whole bunch, you know, separated plants. And plus they'll be nice fuller plants, and I won't have so many different pots of prayer plants. But like I said, if you guys want to know how I take care of these plants, you can just check out the previous video that I did, and I laid out all of the care that I have with these plants. The only thing I forgot to mention in that video is the fertilization. And with fertilization, I do fertilize at least once a month. I use fish fertilizer with my prayer plants as well as all my plants. You could always use a seaweed fertilizer, which I actually might be trying next because the fish fertilizer is very strong and potent. Especially for the summer months, it's kind of too strong. So I think I might be switching to a seaweed fertilizer to try that. But I would recommend just trying a natural fertilizer, one that doesn't have a lot of chemicals, just so you can prevent your leaves from getting all scarred and having those crispy ends on the leaves. So yeah, that's what I would recommend with fertilizer. But yeah, as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Please put down in the comments section if you have any prayer plants or what your favorite prayer plant was in my collection. I'm just curious to know as always. And like I said, I just want to thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.